Cross your legs like this, loosely. If you can cross everything over, that would be great. But if you can't, just loosely, just sit Indian style like that. And then have your hands on your knees, palm side up. Let's roll the shoulders up to your ears and roll them down so that we know that the placement of the shoulders are nice and aligned. Just bring attention to the tailbone all the way up to the crown of the head. And make sure you feel like the head is floating on your spine versus heavy weight just scrunched over. That's important. In this position, we're going to go ahead and close our eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale through your mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. So pranayama breathing is all about breathing in and exhalation, equal amount of time. So go ahead and calm breaths in through your nose like this. Please keep breathing, and I'm going to count you through for 5 inhalation, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more breath. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That sort of sets our stage for our practice today. Bring both hands in front of your chest. And just bow to your hands and say a little prayer, whatever your religion might be. Just set the intention for your practice to heal and to move and to look and feel your very best. So with that in mind, have your hands on the mat right below your shoulders. Come onto all fours. It's important to have the hands right below your shoulders, knees right below your hips, okay? So we're going to do cat and camel. So you're going to drop your belly, roll your shoulders back, and really extend your spine up, like you're arching up. Inhale and exhale. You're going to tuck your tail under. Really press through your hands down onto the mat. Really round up. And inhale, extend out of your tail, crown of the head reaching forward, gaze up, all the way up, arch your back. Exhale, tuck your tail under, scoop your tummy, navel to the spine. Really arch, arch, arch. And inhale, extend all the way up. We're still breathing pranayama breath, so really even, Steven. Inhalation, arch. Exhale, tuck and scoop and really round out your back. And inhale all the way up. Really gaze, and you should feel a gentle myofascial stretch on the front of your body, front of your torso. And exhale, tuck and scoop your tail under. When you do this, I want you to really feel that stretch in your lumbosacral fascia there. And inhale all the way up. Make sure the tension is out of the shoulders. And exhale, tuck and scoop. Just warming up our spine for the practice today. And inhale. Exhale.
Let's
Let's do one more full round. Inhale, extend out of your tail, crown of the head reaching up. And exhale, tuck and scoop your tail all the way down. And you're going to go ahead and come to a neutral spine. And then you're going to drop your toes down onto the mat. Really grasp your mat with the toes. And then you're going to go ahead and lift your knees up and off the mat. And then extend your tail straight up to the ceiling, keeping the heels nice and high. It's still kind of early. So then when you feel like you have good bearing, you're pressing through the palms of your hands away, press the mat away from the floor, really engaging your shoulder girdle muscles. Then go ahead and slowly start to sink your heels all the way down to the mat, and that's going to give a little tension in your hips. And hamstrings are going to start to wake up. And as they do that, go ahead and alternate bending your knees side to side. Breathing and seeing if you can go a little bit deeper with every exhalation. The breath is always going to guide your movement. So make sure you're checking in with your breath at all times. Exhale, sink your right heel down. Hold. And inhale, lift your right heel up and sink your left heel down as you exhale. And inhale, lift your left heel up and alternate. Right heel sinks down as you exhale. Just do that a few times. Just get the fascial layer of your muscles to just wake up, not cause micro tears, but you're pressing the mat away through the palms of your hands. Like I said, you're pressing away so that the shoulder girdle muscles are working and they're active. Navel to the spine. Being mindful of your core engagement. Drop both heels all the way down. See if you can lift your toes. And that might be a little bit of a challenge. If that is, feel free to keep your knees slightly bent. And then sway your hips side to side. And you're going to notice that creates a lot of tension on the backs of your thighs and perhaps down to the calves. And that's all good. Sway side and to side. We're going to go ahead and slightly bend our knees and walk our hands back toward our feet, keeping your head all the way down. Just loosen the tension from the tail all the way down to the crown of the head, so the weight of the head is pulling the spine down, decompressing. And if you're okay there, see if you can interlace or grab opposite elbow with the opposite hand and see if you can further go down. And if you are not able to do this by keeping your knees straight, then bend your knee slightly, get your belly to the thigh, and see if you can just shake your head side to side, no, and up and down, yes, to make sure that we have complete relaxation, we have decompression going on in your whole length of the spine. And then see if with every inhalation and as you exhale, see if you can straighten out those knees, and it's going to create a lot of tension. Just check in with yourself to make sure that your shoulders have not engaged again. They're not tensive. Everything is just hanging, and it should feel really good, like your head is floating down. This really sets the stage for the spine to be awakened before we really start our practice. So from here, go ahead and release your hands all the way down. And then from the tail all the way up, we're going to go ahead and slowly round up. Nice and slow, like a rag doll. All the way up. Keep your knees bent the whole time to ensure that there's not too much tension in the spine. There you go. When you come to a fully standing posture, then you're going to step forward to the tops of your mats. Get your toes together, heels together, and because we're shortening the base of support, it's going to create a little bit of a challenge in the balance. Make sure you're not having your feet shoulder width apart. Keep it together. Learn to stand with the feet together. And then I want you to tuck your tail under, bring awareness to your core muscles so that they're lifting, they're working for you, so that the spine is decompressing the whole length of your practice, that we're not just hanging on our bones. I'm going to challenge you to really use your muscles, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and inhale, raise your arms up overhead, sideways. Grab a hold of the left wrist with the thumb and index of the right hand, and then you're gonna pull vertically straight up, shoulders drawn down. So check yourselves, make sure shoulders are not riding up, pull them down, and keeping that there, make sure the rib cages are not flaring out, you're keeping honest, and core is active throughout this whole practice. From here, keeping this elongation of the spine, you're gonna press the hips to the left hip to the left side, and then you're gonna create this arch bend to the right side with the upper body. So there's a push and pull. So the left hip is going to the left, upper body is going to the right. Keeping the right side of the torso nice and long and lifted. So it doesn't matter how far you can go, that's not what I'm after, collapsing. But I want you to be lifted and going sideways. Imagine yourself between two panes of glass, and you want to stay between them. So there's no rotation of any sinking of any kind. Keep yourselves honest. 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up as you inhale. And exhale, we're gonna switch your hand position. So now the left hand, index and thumb, is grabbing hold of the right wrist and pull up vertically and get that spinal decompression going, really activate your core. Get it up, and then you're gonna go ahead and press the right hips to the right, upper body to the left, keeping that elongation, keeping in mind that you're between two panes of glass. And really press, and go ahead and inhale in through the right rib cage and really elongate up. And exhale, see if you can go further for 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands right back. So the heels of your hands are gonna go right at the tops of your pelvis, like this. And then you're going to keep your elbows straight back, pointed straight back, not out to the side, but straight back. So that's gonna kind of challenge you to open your chest. And then you're gonna go ahead and press through the heels of your hands, press the hips forward. Press the hips forward, and then if you feel good here, go ahead and look back and really arch back. And it's a safe back bend for us because you're pressing your hips forward and allowing the spine to go back. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently come all the way up. Inhale your arms all the way up. Cross your thumbs, palms together, really lift up. Core active. You're gonna go ahead and hinge forward from the hips all the way down. Get your hands on the mat and just bend alternating knees. And just shake out the hips and loosen them up, or warming them up a couple of times. And then feel free to squat down, lifting the heels up, getting all the crackle jacks out of your joints. Side to side. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bend your knees so that the belly is in contact with your front thigh. And then reach back with your hands from behind. So you're grabbing your heels so that the crease of the wrists meet with the heels of your feet. And the soft part of your elbow is right behind your calves. This position is really important. Now you have a full grasp of your heels with all 5 fingers. And from here, you're gonna go ahead and lower your head so that your face is now between your shins. So feel free to bend your knees as much as possible to allow this to happen while keeping your shoulders out of it. So a lot of people just starts to like really tense up in the neck, and if you're doing that, pull the shoulders away from your ears and make sure this is all coming from the core. Really squeeze the belly, squeeze the thighs. And then you're going to notice you're able to, with every exhalation, get the tail straight up toward the ceiling, checking yourself, making sure that you're keeping your shoulders relaxed. You're pulling on your heels to allow this to happen. As you do that, as the tail goes straight up to the ceiling, you're lowering your spine further down. Keeping the belly to the thigh contact is very important. This is kind of early for the first set. We're just going to just get here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release your hands. Bring it in front of you. Go ahead and get palms together, cross your thumbs. Get your core active, bend your knees slightly, and keeping a slight extension of your upper body, you're going to come all the way up nice and strong. And exhale your arms down by your side and gaze forward in your own eyes in the mirror. Don't shift, don't wipe off, don't do anything, just keeping the gaze forward and centered. We're going to repeat that one more time, the whole half moon back bend and the forward bend. Inhale your arms all the way up, grab a hold of the left wrist with your right hand, pull all the way up vertically. Get some spinal decompression, hips to the left, upper body to the right. We're going to hold. You're between 2 panes of glass. Be honest about where you are. You can press your limits a little bit. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, come all the way up. Switch the hand position, so left hand around the right wrist, pull up, vertical, press the hips to the right, upper body to the left, and really open your chest up, even rotate up slightly, but remembering that you're between 2 panes of glass, and breathe. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up, heels to the tops of your pelvis, elbows pointed straight back, pressing the hips forward with the heels of your hands, safe back bend, and then gaze up and back. For 5, press the hips forward, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up. Inhale your arms all the way up, palms together, cross your thumb, engage your core, fold at the hips, nice and slow, all the way down. And once the palms of your hands reach the mat, go ahead and alternate bending your knees, warming the joints out. And then go ahead and lift your heels, squat all the way down, and just get all the joints to be lubricated and just warmed up. From here, you're going to go ahead and bend your knees, get your belly to thigh contact, and then grab a hold of your heels from behind, crease of the wrists meeting up with the heels of your hands, all 5 fingers engaged together. You're pulling on those heels. Get your face right between your shins if you can. Bend your knees further. And from here, go ahead and keeping the tension out of the neck, you're going to go ahead and lift the tail straight up to the ceiling. As you do that, I want you to feel your spine going down toward the floor, kind of getting a gentle pull, getting that decompression in your low back. Engage your core, really squeeze your belly, squeeze your thigh. That's going to allow for the extensor fascial layer of your low back and the hamstrings to release a little bit more. Leave the tension out of the neck. 3, 2, and 1. Gently bend your knees, release your hands, bring them forward, palm to palm, cross your thumbs, core engaged, nice strong. Come all the way up to standing and exhale your arms down by your side, gaze forward, and keep breathing. All right, so we're gonna do chair pose. You're gonna step the right foot out to the right, about shoulder width apart, okay? So get your fists together and then go ahead and measure the distance between your big toes and then the heels. And the feet should be 2 fist width apart. So if you need to, go ahead and measure that. And bring your hands forward like this. Your hands should be right in front of your shoulders. Really get all the muscles in your arms to be engaged. And then you're gonna go ahead and get your buns going back toward the back wall, all the way back. And then when you do that, we tend to hyper arch that weakest part of our low back. So go ahead and tuck your tail slightly under, very slightly, and that's going to get your core to be active. Look down towards your feet, make sure the knees are staying behind your toes. Arms are active. And really you're starting to feel a lot in your knees and your quads and your glutes. Keep your toes up. We're gonna stay here for 5, 4, upper body going back toward the back wall, 3, smile, 2, and 1. And slowly you're gonna come all the way up, keeping your arms exactly where they are. If you loosen and get something like weakened, then you lose that energetic force to keep you nice and focused and balanced, okay? So keep everything engaged. Go high up on your toes like you're wearing stiletto heels. And it's important that you keep keeping the heels up high. While doing that, imagine you're sliding on the wall behind you. Upper body is perpendicular to the floor. So go down as low as possible without dropping the knee. The knee and feet width should be consistent, because a lot of people either widen their knees out or knees in. Hold, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly and painfully come all the way up without losing it. And if you lose it, that's fine. Go ahead and heels down, and then come slightly up on your toes. Get your knees together. And from here, imagine you're leaning back up against the imaginary wall behind you. You're gonna glide down that wall, all the way down. Keep your arms active and stay here. The bun should not go below the knees. It should be really, really sore here and very difficult. Imagine having a dollar between your knees. Hold, 3, 2, 1, and slowly you are gliding up that wall behind us, all the way up. Knees apart, heels down, arms down, and feet back together. Take a deep breath and out. Whew. The second set will go a little bit faster, but that challenges a lot of our balance, proprioception. A lot of the work, a lot of the muscles are working. The whole body should be working really. So it's gonna take your breath away, and that's all good. Same thing, look at the imprint down on the mat if you have it. And place your feet exactly where you were. We're gonna repeat that a little bit faster this time. Arms go forward, hands right in front of your shoulders. You're gonna go ahead and squat all the way down, keeping the weight of your body towards the heels of your feet. Toes up, really get the buns behind you. Tuck your tail slightly under. Keep your body honest and make sure your core is engaged. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up, nice and slow. Come high up on your toes, and then hold it there. And then we're gonna glide down that imaginary wall behind us, keeping the heels up without falling this time. So it's early, my ankle muscles are not very stable this morning. Hold for 5, 4, high up on your toes, 3, 2, and 1. Yes, your body should be shaking a bit, and heels down, good. Come slightly up on your toes, get your knees together, and that contact between the knees so tight, you have a dollar bill between the knees, and you're not going to drop it. That's how tight I want it. And then your upper body perpendicular to the floor, you're gonna slowly go down, slowly, controlled, nice and slow, hold, go as low as possible, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up nice and slow. The whole time, I have you engaged in a very difficult posture, knees apart, heels down, arms down, right foot next to the left. It's important to remember to keep all your body's muscles active, because that's when we'll go to the path of least resistance. Be mindful about your practice so that you can get all the gains possible. So if you need a little bit of a water break, this is the time I call for that. So feel free to go get a water break. Otherwise, we'll keep moving. So we're gonna do the eagle pose this time. Inhale your arms all the way up. When you do that, you're gonna go ahead and exhale. Bring the right arm under the left. Like really twist. The idea is to get the fingertips, the tops of your fingertips, if you're keeping them extended, below your nose, right? So keeping everything down. I don't want tension up here like this. So if you're not able to do that, not many people can do that, you can be here. I'd much rather you be here everything crossing in the middle, elbows crossing, everything looks even, Steven, like this, and you're pulling the shoulders down. You should feel like upper traps are being stretched down. Otherwise, if you can, keep them together, palms together, and interlace your fingers and bring the joints of your hands below your nose. That would be ideal. And if you can't keep your fingers extended and still keep them down, that's even better. We're gonna go ahead and squat all the way down. Go ahead and squat down, and then you're gonna go ahead and weight shift the body's weight to the left side, and lift your right leg up, high up. And you're gonna cross that leg over, all the way over. And if you're good here, that's fine. You're gonna cross it all the way over if you can. Otherwise, keep your toe right next to the other foot. The left foot, right toes right next to the right foot, and keep that balance. The idea is to keep the pelvis square on the mirror. You're gonna pull down a little bit lower, and really squeezing the thighs together is going to give you that focus and the balance that you need. I want the elbows and the knees to line up. And you're gonna hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come up, release that leg. We're gonna go ahead and inhale your arms all the way up. Wherever your arm was this time, the left arm's gonna go below the right, and cross all the way over, or grab the opposite shoulder with the opposite hand. And keeping everything centered in the middle, you're gonna pull the arms down. Holding that there, we're gonna squat all the way down, weight shift over to the right side, right foot. Lift your left leg up as high as possible and cross it over the right. And then really hook your toes around the shin, or you can keep the toes down, keeping your pelvis level. And you're gonna go ahead and pull the shoulders down a little bit more, go lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is a good self-mobilization technique for your hips, because a lot of the times pelvis gets malaligned because we cross our legs all the time. Right arm under the left, wherever you feel comfortable with the positioning that I mentioned, either interlaced, fingers extended, or the shoulders, that's fine. Pull the elbows down. So right arm is under the left, squat down low, weight shift over to the left side, lift the right leg high up and cross it over the left leg. The more you can cross, the more squeeze you can give the thighs, the more balance you're gonna have. Go ahead and sit lower, hold for 5, 4, focus, 3, if you fall out of it, come right back in, 2, and 1. Slowly come up, inhale your arms all the way up, crossing the left arm under the right, and really squeeze the arms and pull the elbows down wherever you are. And then go ahead and squat down low, weight shift over to the right side, lift your left leg high up over the right, and cross it over, and squeeze the thighs together. Lower the elbows down, sit lower, keep your pelvis level for 5, squeeze your belly, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and slowly release out of it. Inhale your arms all the way up. Exhale your arms down by your side, and breathe. So now we're gonna go ahead and do standing head to knee pose. So go ahead and shift your weight over to the left side. Lift your right leg up. Toes are up, knee in line with the hips. So I don't want it too high or too low. So really get everything engaged. I want you to really stand on that left hip. I don't want you to sink down into it. So be real attentive. Get yourself in the mirror if you have to, and this is the first step. And if this is challenging enough for you, standing on that left foot, see if you can waver more on the inner arch of your left foot and just stand nice and tall, keeping everything engaged. From there, you're gonna go ahead and round over, utilizing your core muscles over your right thigh. And then you're gonna grab under the toes with all 5 fingers, gazing forward at your own eyes in the mirror. Your knee is still right in front of the right hip. You're gonna hold it here for 5, 4, core is engaged, 3, 2, And really locking out that left knee and using the quads. And slowly release, upper body come back, lower the right foot, and just shake the knees out a little bit. All right, when asked to really engage the rotator cuff muscles of the hips, because we tend to like sink into the hips, avoid doing that. They're gonna be real challenged. And one side is always weaker than the other, so you'll notice a shift when we do side to side comparison. We're gonna go ahead and shift our weight to the right side, lift your left leg up, knee right in front of the hip, toes up, and get your bearings here. See if you can put more weight on the inner arch of your right foot, keeping your shoulders nice and back. Your head is floating on top of your coccyx. So really keep everything engaged. So again, decompression occurring through your muscle activation of your spine. Hold, and then you're gonna go ahead and round over, utilizing your core muscles. And then if you're able to, go ahead and really engage your right quads. Grab under the toes, interlacing all 5 fingers, exactly the way I have it here. And you're gonna hold, gaze forward, look at your own eyes in the mirror for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Upper body comes up, lower the left leg, and shake it out. We're gonna do the full expression of the pose. I'm gonna show you. If you can't, don't worry about it. If you can, that's something to work towards. So go ahead and weight shift over to the left side. And if you can't follow through the whole thing, and if you fall, that's okay. It's a process, and I want you to really think about your own journey through this whole experience, not so much what everybody else in the class is doing. So really stand on that left hip, and then lift your right leg up. Keep your toes up. Engage your core. You're gonna round over, being honest about where your knee and hip placement is. Hold here, and really engage that core. And if you're good here, you're gonna go ahead and extend the heel toward the mirror, or toward the front, toes toward your face. And still, that whole leg is no higher than the hip. So here, you're gonna go ahead and get your elbows under your right calf, keeping your pelvis even and lined up. And if you're good here, you're gonna go ahead and round over all the way and try to touch your forehead to the knee. If not, that's fine. This is good. And then go ahead and bend this right knee, come back up, and place that right foot down and shake it out. Good. Weight shift over to the right side, lifting the left knee up. And like I told you, there's always one side that's a little bit compromised. And for me, it's the opposite side. So I had a little bit of a difficulty extending my heel. I just worked through that, and I'm going to continue to work through that. Go ahead and round over this left thigh. Grab a hold of your foot right under the toes. Really round over, and I'm keeping mindful of right leg being nice and strong, lamppost for me, to keep that base strong. And then when I'm ready, I'm gonna extend that left heel toward the mirror, making sure that the heel is in line with my left hip. And then when I'm good, I'm going to go ahead and round over, get my elbows under my calf. When I'm good, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to get my forehead onto the left knee. 3, 2, and 1. And I'm gonna come up, bend this knee, upper body up, and bring my left leg next to the right. And that is not an easy thing to do, but that's something you should work towards. We're gonna do the dancer's pose or the bow pose next, really opening up and balancing again on our left leg. So bring your right palm out to the side, so palm side facing the ceiling. Right elbow is right next to my waistline, so I keep it just like that, like there's money falling from the ceiling and you just want to make sure that you catch it. So go ahead and weight shift your weight over to the left side. Bend your right knee back so that the knees are in alignment, not forward. Don't be messy. Every muscle in your body is working. And being honest about that, you're going to reach from the right. grab a hold of that left right foot from the arch of the right foot. And then you're gonna go ahead and pull the knee down south so that it's in alignment with the left knee. So please look in the mirror, make sure you're properly aligned because we are big on alignment here. You're gonna lift your left arm straight up toward the ceiling. So make sure you're not doing this. You're pulling the left shoulder down, keeping long in your spine, really standing on that left foot. You're gonna go ahead and put into the hand. And then you're gonna pull that foot toward your body with the right hand and you're pressing the foot out. So there's a push and pull. And that's what's really going to keep you balanced. When you're doing this, avoid like being pulled back like this. Keep your pelvis level. And really just press the foot into your hand. Your hand is pressing the foot back towards your body. And keeping honest with that. Being open. Reaching up. Bringing the pelvis level. Reaching up. And when done properly, the toes of your right foot should peep up right at the center of the head, crown of your head. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come back and release your foot. Release your left hand all the way down and gather yourself. Tremendous focus that it requires. It's not an easy thing to do. So don't feel bad if you trip out of it. It's only the beginning. Some days are good, some days are bad. It's just life. So bring your left elbow right beside your left side of the waist and be palms up. We're gonna weight shift over to the right side. Bend the left knee back. And then from here, go ahead and reach back and grab a hold of the left foot with your left hand. And bring your right arm straight up, keeping the shoulders down. Really reaching up and down. So there's always a push and pull that's going to keep you nice and tall and honest. I want the chest to be open. From here, you're going to press the foot into your left hand. And you're going to pull that foot in towards your body with your left hand. And really pull up. And really extend out of your tail. And bring your left hip forward towards the mirror or toward the front to make sure you're keeping your pelvis lined. Really pull, pull, and hinge forward, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way up, lower your left foot, right arm comes down, palm side up, and just really breathe. Power of the mind is tremendous, so keep your breaths nice and even, because that's going to calm your sympathetic nervous system. It's an automatic reflex system that you can actually calm and really control your own anxiety. And really, you can control your whole the heart rate and all the nervousness that you might have. And any type of stress, this can be all controlled by the control of the breath. So really, you in control of your mind through the movement is what we're really after. So see if you can, instead of huffing, see if you can really control that breath nice and in and exhale. And you'll notice if you cycle that for about 5 breaths, even breaths, your nervous system sort of calms down. It's always mind over matter. So with that being said, we're going to do one more set of the bow. Right arm extends out. Shift over to the left side. Bend your right knee. Grab a hold of the right foot from the inside. Knee points straight south. Left arm goes straight up and get that elongation in your spine, core active. You're gonna go ahead and push and pull, lift up, get your pelvis in alignment, really pull, but not be honest about how your core is active. Really press that foot into your hand and really pull and see if you can reach your limits. Go down, further down, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice and slow, come. Release your right foot, left arm comes down, and breathe. Same thing on the left side. Palm out. Weight shift over to the right side, bend your left knee. Knees pointing straight down south, right arm goes straight up, and pull that foot into your left foot left foot into your left hand. And really pull and extend out of your tail, crown away from the tail, really lifting, core engaged, pelvis level, breathing. Reach up with the right hand, reach up with the left foot, foot away from the hand, really getting that nice arch for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way up. Left foot down. Right foot comes down. Gaze at yourself in your own eyes in the mirror. And breathe. And because we took the heart a little bit down, it's sort of an inversion. You're going to kind of, we've challenged our heart a little bit more. So we're going to go ahead and step back. We're going to do the balancing stick. So for the first set, we're going to have our hands on our hips here. Step forward about 3 feet wide with the right foot. Forward. And then you're going to go ahead and weight shift your weight to the right foot. Lift your left foot back and really extend out, up and out. Really keep this nice and engaged. Hold it here. Keep your shoulders open. And from here, you're going to tip over without getting the left hips to go back. Really be honest about this alignment here. Standing on that right hip. Come forward, come forward. You're making a T. Really engage everything here in the core. Hold. Bring your left hips down further for 5. Gaze forward about 3 feet in front of you. 3, 2, 1. And come all the way up. Left toes down. Weight shift back to the left foot. And bring your right foot back to the left foot. And hold. Same thing on the left side. Weight shift over to the right side. Step forward with the left foot about 3 foot in front of you. Lift your right toes up. And really get that engagement and elongation in your spine. And then tip over. We're hinging forward as the leg goes up. Back leg goes up. Point your right foot. And really keep that active. Bring your right hip down. And make sure your hands on your hip are level in the mirror. You're going to gaze about 3 feet in front of you. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up. Right toes down. Weight shift back to the right foot. And bring your left foot next to the right foot. And hold. Release your arms. This time, you can still do the second set with your hands on your hips, but if you feel like you can, get your arms up as you inhale. Go ahead and palms come together. Release the index and the thumb. And then same step. Step forward with the right foot about 3 foot in front of you. Really lift up and out. Really get a little bit of a hyper arch, keeping the pelvis level. We're going to go ahead and hinge forward as the back leg, left leg comes up. So we're making a perfect T with our body. Bring your left hip down toward this floor. Hold for 5. Don't look down. Gaze forward. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whole body control. The whole body is engaged for this. Shift back, toes down, and then bring your right foot next to the left and hold. Keep nice and long. There's a slight extension in your spine. Go ahead and step forward with the left foot forward. Lift your right foot up. Really get that extension here. And then you're going to tip over. Gaze forward. Lift your right foot up. Make a T. Bring your right hip down toward the floor so that you keep your pelvis in alignment. Keep a slight extension of your whole body. Hold. Lift your right leg up. Hold up. 3, 2, 1. And slowly shift back. Right toes down. Shift the weight to the right foot. Bring the left foot next to the right. Exhale, bring your arms down by your side. And breathe. Very good. And from here, we're going to do Prasarita Padottanasana, or wide-legged forward fold. So come to the tops of your mat. You're going to go ahead and inhale your arms up. As you exhale, you're going to take a wide step out to the right with the right foot. And then the arms come down parallel to the mat at the same time. And from here, bring your toes in slightly. You're going to go ahead and inhale, lift up and out of your pelvis. Go ahead and hinge forward from the hips all the way down. And then bring your hands right below your chest. You're going to really extend out of your hips and pull forward. There's a slight extension here in the pelvis. Don't be rounded over. And if you feel like you're doing this, you're gonna either put a block underneath you or keep your knees slightly bent. I want this extension in your back because we're trying to fix this. We're always trying to go the other way and training the correct muscles for proper balance and proper posture and proper alignment and really structural symmetry. So keep it here and hold here. If that's all you can do, that's fine. But if you feel like the hamstring allows you and then the low back fascial muscles allow, you're gonna go ahead and walk your hands back. So ultimately, they're in alignment. The tips of your fingers are in line with the toes. Okay, from here, you're gonna keep your elbows pointed straight back. You're gonna lift up and out of your pelvis again one more time. And then you're gonna go ahead and see if you can bring your forehead all the way between your hands while keeping the tail straight up. And ideally, you want the spine nice and straight. You're gonna just hold, keeping the thighs active by really squeezing the thigh muscles, which is gonna release the hamstrings. And squeeze your belly, which is gonna really release the lumbofascial layer. Back extensors, hold. You can use the floor as leverage through the palms of your hands, pressing down to get deeper. 3, 2, and 1. From here, be honest, walk your hands forward a little bit. Get your core engaged, get your hands on your hips. And with nice and strong back, we're gonna come all the way up to standing. And we're gonna go ahead and bend your knees slightly and bring your right foot back all the way up. And bring your arms down by your side. And we're gonna do one more set of that, but a different way. Inhale your arms up, same way. Big step out with the right foot, out to the right. Arms come parallel to the mat. You're gonna lift up and out of your pelvis. You're gonna go ahead and hinge forward from the hips all the way down. This time you're gonna grab toward the backs of your heels so that the crease of the wrists meet up with the crease of the heels of your feet. Toes are pointed slightly in. The soft part of your elbows on the outside, they line up with the calves. So you're gonna extend out of your hips. And you're gonna go ahead and go all the way down, keeping the elbow right next to your calves. If this is not available to you, again, you can be here. Work on this, lengthening. But if you're able to, you might wanna start out with your knees bent and then work on straightening the tail straight up to the ceiling. Hold for 5, really squeeze your belly. It's gonna allow for a little bit more stretch in the lumbofascial layer and the hamstrings. 3, 2, and 1. Shoulders relaxed. And then release your hands, arms out by your side, core engaged, nice and strong, firm abs coming up. And then bend your knees slightly. You're gonna step the right foot next to the left. Arms go up, inhale, and exhale all the way down. We're gonna do what's called Trikonasana. Just breathe, center yourselves. Inhale your arms all the way up. Take a big step out with the right foot all the way out, wider than you can imagine. Turn your left toes in, right foot out. Right foot is parallel with the side edge of your mat. Arms are extended, really engaging your muscles here. Go ahead and bend your right knee. So here I want you to remember, a lot of people just shift their upper body to the right or the back. So I want you to keep your upper body right in line, right above your pelvis, right? So really bend into the right knee. And when you look down, I want the knee to be lined up with the second toe of your right foot. And you should feel like this left hip is going back, rotating back, and really right hip is rotating under. And really go deeper into this, keeping your upper body nice and centered up on top of the pelvis. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and straighten the right knee. Turn your right foot in, left foot out. Go ahead and bend into that left knee. And same thing applies. The knee is right over the knee, right over the second toe. A lot of people do this, or a lot of people just do that, or whatever. It's just shaky. So make sure that you're able to open this up. Or you don't have to do the full expression. Maybe just Bend your knees slightly so that, you're not overly compensating. So go as far as you can. Ideally, you want a 90-degree bend in the knee that's bending. So keeping this right hip open this time, left knee's tucking under. There's a little bit of a rotational component. Hold for 5. You're gonna gaze forward. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly, you're gonna go ahead and straighten the left knee. Turn your left foot in. Go ahead and heel toe your feet back together slightly, and then bend your knees. Bring your right foot back with the left as the arms extends up, and exhale your arms down by your side. We're gonna do one more time. I'm gonna challenge you to do the full expression with this one. Inhale your arms all the way up, big step out with the right, all the way out. Arms come down, parallel to the mat. Turn your left foot in, right foot out. We're gonna go ahead and go deep into the right hip, all the way out. And then we're gonna go ahead and see if you can bring your right elbow in front of the right knee without shifting. So there should be one line over here. You should be making a triangle with this part right here. So you're not sinking in, and if you're not able to do that, then reach down perhaps with the fingertips and really, grab onto the mat and then really extend up and rotate up. And you should be feeling a good stretch here. But if you feel like you've been doing this a while and you can do this, that's fine. Make sure you're staying honest about the right hip and you're using those muscles. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. With nice strong abs, come back. Straighten the right knee, turn your right toes in, left toes out. Same thing. We're gonna go ahead and bend into that left knee. The full expression would be to do this so that the elbow lines up in front of the left knee. You're pressing the knee back as the upper body goes up. So you're really rotating. You should be creating this nice triangle under the arm right here and then pulling back, and this should be a nice one line. If you're not able to reach down a little bit further, and this is a different type of a triangle, full extended triangle here, this is fine too. But if you have enough stretch and strength, then you can be here for the full expression. Tucking your left hip under, right hip is opening toward the ceiling. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up. Straighten the left knee with strong legs. Turn your left toes in, heel toe together. When you've got enough distance, go ahead and bend your knees, bring your right foot back to the left, extend up, and exhale your arms down. And just breathe. All right, Parsvattanasana, standing head to knee stretch, okay? So you're gonna go ahead and inhale your arms up, step 3 feet wide with the right foot out to the side. Go ahead and pivot on your heels all the way back, all the way back. So you're gonna go ahead and press the left hips forward or back wherever you're facing, and then square your pelvis to that side, so that the heels should line up, and you should extend up, all the way up out of your waist, and you're gonna go ahead and curl your spine all the way down until your fingertips reach the floor. And from here, you're gonna claw the mat with your fingers, and then if you're able to, go ahead and get your forehead to the knee with your knee extended if you're able to. I'm not able to, so then I'm going to go ahead and bend my right knee to meet up with my left, with my forehead. But as I do that, I want to make sure this is staying nice and straight. I don't want this twist here. So be honest about where you are. This is tremendous compressive energy here in your spine and a lot of work for the core. For 3, leave the tension out of the neck. 2, and 1, straighten the right knee, get your palms together using your muscles. You're going to come all the way up with a slight extension. It's a lot of challenge on your balance, all the way up. We're going to pivot on our heels and go the exact opposite way. Really shift our right hip forward this time so that the pelvis is nice and lined up. Extend up and out of your pelvis. Go ahead and round your spine all the way over. All the way over, keeping your pelvis nice and level.
and round over that left leg. As soon as the fingers touch, you can go on either side of the left foot and claw the mat. Go ahead and bend your left knee if you have to, and get your forehead to the knee. Tremendous amount of compression, like I told you. It's a lot of core work, but make sure you're not overcompensating by overactivating your upper traps. Hold. For 5, make sure you're bearing even weight between left and the right foot. 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and straighten the left knee. Get your palms together. The thumbs crossed, and get your slight extension, come all the way up, nice strong core, and pivot on your heels. Bend your knees and bring your right foot next to the left. Exhale, bring your arms down by your side and breathe. Good job. Final pose, we're gonna do tree. So from here, you're gonna face the top of your mat, the normal angle of your mat, and then go ahead and weight shift over to the left side. Wherever you need to go. When you do weight shift to one side, typically, as I mentioned before, we tend to sink into that hip. Please avoid doing that. Sit up nice and tall. Wherever the toe goes, place them there. And then from there, all I want you to do is wherever you need to be, it's either here, here, or the heel right up to your crouch. But what I'm looking for is that the sole of your foot is digging in or pressing into the upper thigh and really getting a nice stance here. You have to have a little bit of a traction, and you're trying to work on opening the pelvis. So if the full expression would be to get your foot so that the heel is right up against the crotch, it's like half lotus pose here, and bringing the right knee straight down south while keeping your upper body nice and perpendicular to the floor, really extending or straightening the left knee. Use your quads, pressing down. You're gonna press the right knee down, really opening this hip and hold. Shoulders drawn down and back. 4, 3, 2, keep working on it. 2, if you fall out of it, keep going in. You just know that that's what we have to work on. And 1. And slowly, you're gonna go ahead and place that right foot down next to the left and just shake it out. It's really a lot of stretch and a lot of work for the hips. So really, we're gonna weight shift over to the right side. Go ahead and bring the sole of the left foot all the way up. Wherever it was on the opposite side, that's where I'd like it. If it was here, 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 or for me, it was here. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna work on really opening. If you did something else on the opposite side, please stick with what you were doing so we stay even. This is the same thing. We're between 2 panes of glass and I want everything to be level. One side of the hip is always compromised. And this is my particular tight side, so I'm really gonna feel it on the inner thigh. And hold shoulders down, really standing on that right hip. 5, 4, bring your knee south if you're doing this pose with me. If not, the hip should be opening straight laterally or out to the side. And 1. Arms down by your side, release that left foot next to the right and shake it out. Very good. And that was the standing series. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the floor series. So go ahead and transition down, all the way down onto the back of your mat. And then from here, come to a long seated position, get your arms forward, and you're gonna go ahead and roll on your spine like one spine down at a time, utilizing your core muscles. Don't collapse down, but all the way down so that you can completely relax. You worked really hard. Want you to make sure that you get a good Shavasana or complete resting corpse pose. And just keep breathing. Check in with yourself. And just applaud yourself for doing such a great job. With that, I want you to go ahead and now wind relieving pose. So bring your right knee all the way up to the right armpit. You're gonna grab a hold of the right knee, interlace all 5 fingers, and then pull that right knee right under the kneecap. Don't do it right on the knee.
We don't want to create any type of challenge or situations where we're going to compromise any joints. You're going to keep your left leg straight down on the mat. Bring that knee right outside of your body so that the upper thigh is, inner thigh almost, upper inner thigh is grazing the right side of your rib cage. Pull that knee towards your armpit. You should feel a nice pinching sensation while keeping the spine nice and compressed down onto the mat. And breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then bring your right leg all the way down and do the same thing with the left knee. Bend all the way up and bring that knee, pull it toward the left armpit and graze that left upper thigh against the lateral part or the side part of your left rib cage. Sort of the leg is outside, so there's a slight abduction, as we call it in anatomical terms, but a little bit outside of your body, and hold. Pull that knee closer to you and really pull, 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 and release. And then get both knees up to your chest. And then go ahead and roll up and then grab a hold of the knee. Really hug it and get your opposite elbow to the opposite hand to the opposite elbow and really hug. And then lower your head all the way down. Tuck your chin and tuck your tail all the way down so that you're sort of pulling the tail away from the crown of the head. And you are going to attempt to get your core active so that you can flatten all curvatures of your spine onto the mat. And breathe. It's a tight, very severe stretch. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Lower both legs down, arms down by your side, and just take a little breather. And from here, you're going to extend your arms all the way up. And then we're going to do a Pilates roll up. You're going to inhale, get your arms up to here so that the fingertips are pointing straight up to the ceiling. You're going to chin tuck, and you're going to go ahead and get your legs active, toes up towards you. And then you're going to go ahead and go inhale and exhale. Tuck and scoop, and you might find a little challenge, and I found a little bit of a challenge there because my low back is very, very tight, and this is early in the morning. And if you find that, and that's great, just work through and keep working hard to really activate your core. And just smile at yourself, and sometimes if you can't do something, because that happens all the time to me anyway. And so extend the tail away from your heels, and then fold forward as much as you can. This is not an intense stretch, but just to get your low back to release. It's really tight this morning for me, struggling through. You'll notice in the morning it's a little bit tighter, and then towards the afternoon your myofascial tissues really warm up and they stretch out. So that's something you'll notice. Later classes you'll do a lot better. In the morning it's going to be a little bit tighter. It's just normal. And then come all the way up. We're going to go ahead and go on your tummy. Okay. So you're going to go on your tummy, get your forehead on the mat, hands right under your shoulders, toe heel together. Really activate your legs so that your knees are popping up off the mat. And then, keeping your shoulders down away from the ears, you're going to go ahead and come up. Extend your head away from the tail. Come up all the way. So just to make sure you're not using your hands, you're going to lift your hands up and really get your core active, because if core is not active, you're compressing your low back. Hold for 5, 4, you're extending the tail away from the crown of the head. 2 and 1, come all the way down, left cheek onto the mat and look to the right. Arms down by your side and just rest for a minute. Breathe in and exhale. Inhale and exhale. All right.
This time, I want your arms out to the side. Hands in alignment with your shoulders. Get your forehead down, feet together, toes together, heels together. Really activate your legs. Kneecaps are popping off the mat. You're going to go ahead and lift your feet and your head all the way up. Get your arms high as possible. Gaze up, and that's where, as high as your hands are going to go, your body's going to follow. Really engage your core. Really lift everything up for 3, 2, and 1, all the way down. Forehead down first, arms down by your side, right cheek on the mat, and look to the left. And breathe. And then we're going to do the bow pose. Go ahead and bend both knees. And then you're going to go ahead and bring your face down, forehead on the mat. Grab a hold of your feet right below, from the outside, below your toes. Get your shoulders back, shoulders away from the ears, toes pointed. And then you're going to go ahead and lift everything up as you kick your feet into your hands. Upper body extends. You're going to gaze up and really go. And really lift your legs up toward the ceiling. Go arch back and forth. And then come to the soft part of your belly, keeping the knees inside your body as much as possible. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. And bring everything down. Left cheek on the mat. Look to the right. And breathe. Get your hands right under your shoulders. And from here, get your forehead down here. If you're able to come all the way up to the plank, that's great. If not, you can come up on your knees and lift everything up like this. Do whatever. But if you're able to go from here all the way up to plank, that would be good. Right? And then from here, see if you can come onto your elbows, interlace your fingers, and lower your pelvis so that everything is lined up. We're going to stay here for 10 breaths. Get your navel to the spine. It's hard. Tuck your tail slightly under, shoulders away from your ears. It's not about the shoulders. See if you can line up your head all the way down to the heel. Lift your pelvis up so that everything's in alignment. You can skate off your body. 3 more long breaths. 2. And 1. Gently tap your knees down. Extend your fingers all the way forward. And see if you can get your knees wide and sit all the way back as the fingers claw the mat. Forehead onto the mat into child's pose, just to kind of reset everything. And breathe. Make sure if you have knee arthritis, you can have padding under your knees. Gently, you're going to come onto all fours and then shift and walk your knees forward. You're going to sit here gently, nice and tall, and keep breathing. From here, you're going to go ahead and shift your weight over to the palms of your hands and get your feet out to the side. Go ahead and sink your hips between your feet. And if you're okay here, that's great. And then bring your feet, or grab a hold of your feet with the palms of your hands, and see if you can go down onto the elbows like this. Okay? And then if it's too early, like I said, on the days like I feel like my low back's really tight today, I'm going to be very careful. But I'm going to come up, high up on my elbows, and if I feel good here, I'm going to drop my head back, touch the crown of my head onto the mat, really extending my chest up toward the ceiling, and then bring the back of my head down. Keeping my knees together is important. If they're spreading apart, I don't want you to even go here, because you're going to create a lot of lumbar compression, which is completely unnecessary. You're going to raise your arms up, grab hold of the opposite elbow with the opposite hand, really extend up a little bit further, get your hips up toward the ceiling, arching your back like you're making a bridge with your spine. Pull up. And there's no lazy muscle in my body. I'm pulling the knees, and I'm really experiencing an intense stretch from my kneecaps all the way up to my hips. And yes, because my low back's tight today, it feels really intense. Breathe. And slowly, you're gonna get your hands on your feet. Come high up on your elbows again. And make sure you're coming up safe. Do whatever you've got to. And come up. And reset in that Indian pose again. And breathe. From here, you're gonna go ahead and shift back. Inhale your arms all the way up. Palms touch, thumb crossed, and keep it nice and tall, keeping a slight extension. There's no hinging forward or rounding of your back, because then you're gonna lose that energetic force there. Keeping the heels to your glutes or your buttocks. Keep that contact, extend up and away from the pelvis. Keeping that extension, you're gonna go slowly all the way down, all the way down. It's really hard to do. And then the knife edge of your pinky touches the mat first, and then the forehead. And then you're going to walk your fingers a little bit forward so there's a nice pull from the pinkies all the way to the tail of your spine. And you're going to hold here, extend and pull the tail away from the knife edge of your pinkies, and breathe. Shoulders are relaxed. For 5, it should feel good. There's no tension anywhere. 4, 3, 2, and 1. When you come out of it, go ahead and lift your hands, and using your core, you're going to come up, all the way up, trying not to round, and it's really difficult. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up, and exhale, arms down by your side. Very good. And then we're going to shift up into a camel pose. Okay, we're going to go ahead and shift into the camel pose. So come a little bit high, or shift forward onto the mat. So we have mat space on the mat to do this. Go ahead and come onto your knees, and make sure the knees are hip width apart, feet are right behind the knees. Okay? From here, you're going to place the heels of your hands onto the tops of your pelvis. And then get the elbows straight back so that your chest is opening. You're going to press the hips forward as much as you can. And if you're good here, that's all I want you to stay. That's all I want you to do. And if you're good here, and if you can look back safely, that's great. And if you feel good here, you're going to reach back toward the heels. One by one, right and then left. And I really want you to grab strongly your heels, pressing the hips forward, really activating the core. Hips forward, grab a hold of your heels as leverage. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly get your right hand onto the sacrum, left, and safely come up. Oh, and then sit back and catch your breath. Deep pranayama breath. 1 cycle, please. Just to get your autonomic system back level. That was a pretty intense stretch. So next one is the rabbit pose, where we're going to really severely round over our spine. So we're going to go ahead and come to the backs of our mats, sitting in Indian style. Go ahead and grab a hold of your heels, like as if you're grabbing a doorknob, but really grab hard with all 5 fingers. When you do that, it's going to take your shoulders back, but we're trying to round forward. So really, stay back, but you're going to chin tuck and start to really round over, all the way down, so that as you go down, you're really grasping your heels really, really tight, and that's going to provide the leverage. And then you're going to place your forehead or the top of your head as close to your knees as possible. And then slowly, keeping your core active, you're going to lift your hips up, get your feet together, knees together, shift things up, and really adjust accordingly. And really lift your hips up, and you should feel this intense stretch in the lower segment of your low back. Yeah, hips up, hips up. It's difficult for me to talk. It's a very compressive posture. Hold. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower your buns down back to the heel, and then roll your spine. Release your hands away from the heel, all the way up. Very compressive posture. It's been known to really compress on the thyroid, and so it has a lot of claims to get all your gut squeezed, and then as we release it, we're increasing circulation to those areas. That's the premise. So get your breath again. And then from here, we're gonna go ahead and then come onto all our fours, onto hands and knees. And then you're gonna press your toes down and really lift your hips straight up, going to downward dog. And this time when you do this and check in with yourself, you should feel a little bit looser. And just shake your hips side to side. And breathe. And just shift, sway your hips side to side. Do what you gotta do to feel this nice stretch. Remember, I told you to engage your shoulder girdle. Don't sink into your muscles. We don't want to overuse. We don't want to degenerate or promote any degeneration in our joints. So always want to be working our muscles. Hold here. From here, we're going to go right into pigeon. So bring your right shin across your hand, like so. And naturally, this hip's gonna elevate or pull apart or pull away from the floor or the mat. You're gonna lay the left thigh all the way down. You're gonna notice this deep stretch on the right side. And you're gonna try to come over it and stay nice and tall. And if you're able to, reach up all the way up. You're trying to keep your pelvis square, right? And so if you have to shift yourself and be high up on your, left thigh, that's okay. I don't want you to force anything and you're twisted, right? So I want you to be square. Work on that. And if you need your hands to keep you square and honest, that's fine. If you can, lift up all the way up and really enjoy that stretch for a minute. And then when you're done, bring your hands in front of you. Walk your hands all the way up and see if you can release your forehead all the way down. And here, check yourself to make sure the pelvis is right over the right shin, that you're not twisted. Breathe. Claw your mat so that you have a little bit of a pull, tug and pull. You're not relaxing so much. You should feel this nice intense stretch on the right side. And from there, walk your hands back up. Lift out of it. Right foot goes back, down into downward dog. Same thing. This time, we're gonna just check in here and then bring your left shin across your hands and bring your right hip down. You're gonna be high up on your right thigh and be here. If you have to have your hands here, that's great. If you're able to, extend up and you just enjoy this moment, because you should be feeling this right hip flexor stretch, because we're usually tight, especially if you're running. And then claw your mat, walk your hands forward, bring your forehead down onto the mat, and breathe. And then walk your hands back. And then palms down onto the mat, and you're gonna press your right toes down and lift that left leg back next to the right foot into down dog. And just check yourself here again for a final go around. And then you're going to go ahead and walk your feet forward next to your hands, and then see if you can go ahead and squat all the way down. This is a functional test. I want you to be able to do this without any problem. Shift back, feet forward, sit up nice and tall. We're gonna go ahead and sit up nice and tall, and pull the heel away from the hips. Nice and tall. And that should be enough of a stretch, and if you find yourself rounding over, that's not good. So be here, and wherever your hands can go, be there, and see if you can hinge a little bit forward. For me, I'm gonna grab a hold of the big toe with my index and my thumb and pull away a little bit more, and that's all the stretch that I need. I can probably go all the way down, but look how rounded my spine is. That's not what I'm after, and that's a different stretch. So I wanna be here today. I just wanna stretch my myofascial tissues from the lumbar segment down to my hamstrings. So this is where I want to be, and then I want the core engaged. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And come back. And then I want to go ahead and bend both knees and have both knees to be centered right in the mirror. We're gonna go ahead and inhale our right arm all the way up. Place the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Just like that. And when you look in the mirror, make sure the knees don't shift to the right or the left. Keep it here, be honest. Left heel of the hand is gonna go right behind your sit bones, or right behind your glutes, in the middle. So pull up and out, and you're gonna go ahead and, with that leverage of the back hand keeping you straight perpendicular to the mat, you're gonna twist back, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Look forward and release. Same thing. Be straight. Lift your left arm up. Bring the left outside of the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Place the heel of the right hand right at the center base of the spine. And making sure the knees are staying right in the middle when you look, and pull up and out of your pelvis and rotate over to the right side. And breathe. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Look center and release. Get your soles of your feet together. Open your knees out to the side. Really pull up. And from here, if you're good here, you're going to try to get your knees straight down onto the mat. Pull up and out of your mat or out of your pelvis and hinge forward. And you should feel a good stretch on the inner thighs. And if you cannot do this, feel free to put a block right under your sit bones, and then work on getting the knees further down. I don't want you to hunch down like this. I want you to pull up and out of your pelvis. And then forward fold from the hips. And breathe. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up. Feet's gonna go forward, arms go forward. We're gonna roll all the way down nice and slow, nice Pilates roll down. Being honest about not collapsing your spine. All the way up, arms down by your side, palm side up. Allow your feet to go flare out to the side. Complete Shavasana. Very good job. I want you to enjoy this Shavasana. This is the most important part of your practice. At least 2 minutes is recommended. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And let your mind be quiet for at least 2 minutes. You worked very hard through the almost an hour and a half practice. So make sure you're able to reset your mind and your body and tune in. And really tune in every day. Your practice will be different every day. So thanks for joining us, and stay in the Shavasana for as long as your time will allow. Up to 5 minutes is great. The longer the better. See you soon.